Hi, it's PJ Patterson here from Keystone Financial. I'm joined today by Tony Eaton from US Global Tax. Welcome, Tony. It's great to have you here.
Great to be here.
Today we're going to be talking about FATCA, which I don't even know what that stands for. What does FATCA actually stand for, Tony?
It's the Foreign Account Tax Compliance Act that was implemented by President Obama into the G20, so the 20th most powerful nations in the world, to look at the tax implications and reporting requirements.
Okay. And why is this important for our finance broking community, for example, in Australia? What are the implications of FATCA for people that do what I do, which is arrange finance for customers?
Every American in the world has to report their worldwide income. So there are over 200,000 Americans living here in Australia, and a lot of them are unaware of that, but they actually have to report as per the holder of a US passport. If you look at the back page, it says the passport is in collaboration with being IRS compliant. So each and every American, unfortunately, has to file their worldwide income back to the IRS.
Okay. So actually, I probably should have asked you before we even got started. Tell me a little bit about US Global Tax and what you guys do.
Right. US Global Tax has been running now for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
We literally only work with US expats around the world, and we work with their compliance in regards to the IRS. So if they are a single person, married filing jointly, if they have a company, anything that relates to the IRS and the reporting thereof, we can certainly help.
Okay. So basically, if I get that correctly, if you are a US citizen living in Australia, you must lodge a US tax return every year.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There is no doubt about that in any way, shape, or form.
That's
no,
right.
no.
And what are the implications if you haven't done that or you don't do that?
If you don't do that, there is the potential of a $10,000 USD fine.
$10,000 per year
per year
that you haven't filed.
Yes. They also had 2 amnesty programs. The first one was called the OVDP, which is the Offshore Disclosure Voluntary Program.
Mm-hmm.
That's where people hadn't filed for multiple years, and if they fitted certain criteria, you would have to file 8 years of tax returns. That program is now closing as of the 29th of September.
Okay.
But the good news is for people like yourselves living in Australia, there is the Streamlined Filing Amnesty Program, which requires you to only file 3 years of tax returns, 6 years of foreign bank account reports. The foreign bank account report is, as part of the amnesty program, every bank account you have legal authority over has to be reported. So if you are a bookkeeper, as well as you have the signing authority, you also have to report those. So it's quite invasive in regards to reporting.
It does sound like it is quite invasive. Let's explore that topic a little bit in a little bit more depth, because I think it has ramifications for our industry. So as a finance broker, one of my requirements is to know my client. So if what I understand you're saying is true, let's see if I've got this right. So if I have a client who is I know is a US citizen and is a bookkeeper at either runs a firm as a bookkeeper or what have you, and I would need to then ask that person questions about whether they have any signing authority or any authority on a bank account. So just talk to that for me, please.
Absolutely. What it means as part of your reporting requirements to the IRS, if you have legal authority over any account, bank account, superannuation account, mortgage account, you have to report that as part of your personal return. There's no taxable, there's no tax relating to those bank accounts. It's purely targeting money laundering. It's the legislation that's in here, and what it goes, those reports go to the Department of Treasury Financial Crime Centre as a standalone, and then those bank accounts with the highest balance, so it's one balance per year, is also reported on your 1040 federal return.
Wow. So it sounds like this is an opportunity in particular for the finance broking community to have conversations with anybody that talks like me, and potentially even if they're an Australian, they might have been unlucky and been, well, maybe not unlucky, but they might have been accidentally born in the US. Even for those people, this FATCA reporting applies to all of us.
We have clients that literally were born in the US, left hospital, and had 2 weeks of their entire life in the US. They have
and they fall under this scheme.
They have. We've been able to put them into the amnesty program, so it allows them to be compliant. And then I think the biggest decision they would need to be made is, do they want to continue as a compliance perspective, or do they want to file 5 years of returns, at which stage they have the opportunity to renounce.
Okay, so I mean, and that's obviously a bigger conversation, probably that you'd advise, I would advise a client to get in touch with you about something like that, but
that's something that we certainly deal with.
Okay.
The US Consulate are extremely good here in Australia, and Sydney in particular, who we deal with. There's a process that you have to do, there's a cost involved, but literally it's a bigger discussion that I'm certainly happy to have with anyone.
Great, awesome. So just to, I suppose, tie this back around, you mentioned the amnesty program, you mentioned how that works. So if I have a client that I think might be in breach or need to get compliant with some of this stuff, what are some of the questions maybe I should be asking them to discover if it's an issue?
I think the first thing is, where were they born? If the answer is anywhere in the United States, they have a reporting requirement. There's no if, buts or might. Also, we need to understand if they are a son or a daughter of an American, there's different reporting requirements associated. Please, I'd rather them call and we have a 10 to 15 minute chat and ensure that they are not required to file than do nothing. The exposure is too high.
Okay. And if someone wants to get in touch with your business, what's the best way to do that?
We're on the website, usglobaltax.com. Both my business partner and our office numbers, our mobile numbers are there. We, like you, care about our clients and are open 24/7. We're open to assist.
Awesome. Is there anything else that maybe I haven't covered in the Q&A that you might want to tell our audience about in terms of FATCA and maybe even going forward if it's going to get even worse?
Look, the days of doing nothing, they're over. The IRS has literally spent billions of dollars updating their software that now integrates with every other government agency. You cannot hide, and the penalties are too high if you do. Good, good. Well, this is Tony Eaton from US Global Tax. I'm PJ Patterson from Keystone Financial. I hope this little session about FATCA and US tax issues for our clients that might have been born in the US, but certainly are US citizens, has been insightful. Until next time.